I'm Daniel.
I'm Jay-Z.
And this is Just My DIY.
A few weeks ago, we brought you the unbiased review of the Cricut Autopress, and at the end of that video, we told you that we would do a head-to-head comparison with the Autopress and a comparably priced traditional heat press.
Enter the TransPro Plus 1620 by ProWorld.
Now, it's important to note we did purchase the Autopress ourselves. However, the TransPro Plus was provided to us earlier in the year by ProWorld for a series of videos.
But we would care to iterate that there is no sponsor to this video. However, the TransPro has become our go-to heat press of choice of the half dozen we have to choose from.
That's right. But the great thing is, in this video, we're not going to tell you which one to buy. We're going to show you the similarities and the differences, do a few test presses, and help you make your own decision.
So it's going to get hot in here.
It's so hot.
The competition's heavy.
It's not a competition. No one's going to win.
But here we go anyways.
Getting right into it, here we have the side-by-side TransPro Plus 1620 and the Cricut Autopress.
The Cricut Autopress comes in at a fabulous $999.99.
Similarly, the TransPro Plus 1620 comes in at $10.99 on the ProWorld website. But keep in mind, you can get a range of features and price points in a traditional style heat press, as you see here. ProWorld has tons of options, as do other websites.
How are these the same?
We're about to show you.
They are both clamshell style heat press.
We point this out just because there is another style of traditional heat press that's a swing away. We have one, but we're not comparing that in this video.
Both of these will have an automatic opening feature at the end of their time cycle,
which we love an auto open feature.
Along with these auto open features is an emergency release feature.
For the TransPro Plus, that is a button on the side of the control unit. The Cricut Autopress, you just tap it underneath the handle.
Setting the temperature and time is as easy as turning knobs on the Autopress.
And for the TransPro Plus, you'll just hit that set button in the middle and use the up and down arrows. Once you set your temperature, click that set button, you got your time. This is pretty much the same on any traditional heat press that we've used, so not that hard at all. However,
there is a lot of differences.
So many differences.
Many.
First and foremost is how they are stored. A traditional heat press is going to take up quite a bit of room, but like we said, we have our TransPro in our prime position right now.
The Cricut off to the side, sitting on its side. It stores quite nicely like this, actually. It's a very nice feature we like.
It really does. Weight is another big differentiator. Any heat press is going to be heavy, but a traditional heat press, especially one of this size, is going to clock in around 80 pounds. And so we like to use our rollable adjustable workbench when we need to move it in the room.
The Cricut comes in at an easy 50.
It is definitely a lot more workable. I could theoretically pick it up, but I mean, why when you have a Daniel? So when it comes to how they look, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? A traditional heat press is a little more industrial, whereas the Autopress is kind of sleek. But some traditional heat presses do come in really fun colors.
Platen sizes can be quite different too at this price point. The 16 by 20 on the TransPro versus the 15 by 12 on the Cricut.
For its cost, the Cricut does have a smaller than usual platen size.
But we do have a difference in the time to reach. Say we set it at 400 degrees and you can see it took 31 minutes.
Traditional heat presses are not fast, but the Autopress now went from room temp to 400 in about 8 minutes, which was quite speedy.
And we're also going to test right here how quick it takes to drop 50 degrees down to 350, which for the TransPro, not a bad, just under 7 minutes.
But the Cricut Autopress went from 400 to 350 in just under 2.5 minutes. So if you do a lot of different things, press a lot of different things, it's good to know.
The Autopress also comes with a nifty preset button feature that you can set for your favorite time and temperature combinations for your most used materials.
Another big thing that we absolutely love with a traditional heat press, especially the TransPro Plus, is the ability to change the pressure. This is huge when you're working with a variety of materials, and not only can you change the pressure on the TransPro Plus, but you have a gauge. We started at a 1, now we're at a 3, so we can actually know what pressure numbers work for different materials.
Autopress, 2 fingers, no choices.
It tells you what the pressure should be.
With that, you have to use a lot of power if you're using heavy pressure on the TransPro. It is a manual levered close on it.
Whereas the Autopress has that motor assist because it's setting its own pressure. You'll always just need to use 2 fingers.
Cricut gives you the ability to do materials up to 2 inches thick,
which is really unique for a clamshell style heat press. Normally they can't do thick materials, but the Autopress absolutely can do a great job with thick materials.
The other clamshell, you can see how it connects, and it's going to have some uneven pressure, some unevenness that we just can't.
If you want to press something thick in a traditional heat press, you really want to have a swing away for that. The clamshell styles are just not normally set for thick materials.
Temperature dispersion. TransPro does not.
Well, a traditional heat press is going to be hotter on the outside, whereas Cricut, one thing they were very adamant about was that it would be cool to the touch, and it is. It has like a fan assist, which keeps the outside nice and cool.
Plenty of working room in both of these.
But they get there differently.
Cricut opens wide, where the TransPro has a slide-out platen feature.
And you'll find that slide-out feature in a lot of high-end traditional heat presses, and it's coming quite handy for us.
As well as, you can actually change this platen out.
This is definitely super special on those high-end heat presses. We love the ability to change the platens because when you're working on different things, this is actually made for sleeves or pant legs. We've also used it for smaller items like dog shirts. And as you can see, they have a range of different platens available for this particular press.
You have a pass-through feature as far as the traditional is concerned. Allows you to put your shirts and whatnot through it.
With the Autopress, you don't get as much of a pass-through. There's a little bit of an overhang there, but it's not a full where you'll get the full t-shirt around it. Now that we've shown you some of the differences, it's on to several different test presses.
Here we go with some basic sublimation onto some coaster boards. Of course, we're going to just clean them up, align our sublimation print-offs with some heat-resistant tape, and fold up some paper so that we can have some protective material for our heat presses.
We're not going to spend a whole lot of time obviously on the process here. We just want to show you how these 2 heat presses perform on similar materials. If you're interested in any of these and we don't already have a video on it, let us know in the comments below. But we're going to press this, both of them, we're doing it 400 for 70 seconds, and of course have our heat resistant gloves, which when I go to peel off, I realize I should have only worn 1 glove.
It came out looking nice though.
You did a good job.
And here we go, same routine, sandwich the sublimation in between some paper, clamshell it down. See how this one turns out.
The suspense. Ah.
It also looks just as nice.
There's minute differences, but nothing to really write home about. They both did really well with the sublimation. Now we're going to try an HTV test. This is actually using Cricut's iron-on vinyl. And so as with any time you do a garment, you want to pre-press and lint roll to make sure that there's no moisture or extra lint. And we're going to press this. It's a cool peel, so we're going to set it off to the side while we do our Autopress test. Now these are both 100% cotton shirts. We just didn't have 2 of the same, but we're using the same design and the same vinyl.
And they're both adorable.
They are. So with that cool peel, the TransPro Plus came off just fine, as did the Cricut Autopress press. So you see They both handled the HTV very well. But now we're going to move on to some puff or foam HTV, and that's because this requires a much firmer pressure than a traditional HTV. So we're using a pressing pillow because these do have plastic snaps on them, and we have learned don't put plastic snaps or zippers near heat plates.
And we have to have the pressure adjusted ahead of time to bring this up to a 6.
And as you can see, that puffed up evenly and nicely. So now we're going to go over to the Autopress. And this is 320 for 12 seconds, I think is what we were doing this at. So again, lint roll, pre-press, put that right down. And then we'll tell you there's definitely a difference. We're going to do the close-up here, nice and smooth on the one we were able to adjust the pressure to a firmer pressure. But the Autopress, so much more texture. It's very brainy like because it just didn't have the same amount of pressure that was needed for this.
And you take advantage of the pass-through feature for this nice t-shirt as we prepare for a super color press.
Super colors require a pressure of 8 on the TransPro Plus. And we have full videos on super color transfers. If you want to check those out, we will link them here. But they require heavy, heavy pressure.
And a fast peel.
2 seconds.
Not 1, not 3.
2. And as you see, turned out great on the TransPro Plus. So now we're going to try it on another t-shirt.
We're going to fold it in half and give it a crease so we can work with it easier.
The smaller platen makes it harder to see exactly where that center is, hence the crease.
And we slide our little pillow into it.
We did discover that Supercolor transfers do a little bit better in the Autopress with the pillow to get that extra pressure we need, but we'll see how they turn out this time.
We're going to try and do that fast 2-second peel and change our name to Ust Might DIY.
We are not changing our name. Yeah, so that did not quite work very well. We did learn with Supercolor transfers you can repress, so that's what we're going to try to do here to change our name back to just Might DIY.
So we press it, we peel it, and there it is. A little wonky, there it is.
I'm not fully confident that that one will last the full 50 washes that Supercolor transfers will, just because we didn't have the pressure. As you can see, it really depends on what you want to press. The regular HTV and sublimation worked well across both presses. The heavier pressure items, so Supercolor transfers and the puff, just didn't do as well in the Autopress.
But the thicker substances did.
Yeah, we did that notebook in the first Autopress video. We hope this side-by-side comparison helps you understand the strengths and the weaknesses of the two different kinds of heat presses here, as well as which one could be best for your needs and the materials that you like to press.
If you have any materials you're curious about how this machine is handled, then feel free to comment it out in the comment line. If you like the video, then you should click the like button, subscribe, ring the bell, and also know that everything that we've used to do this is listed in the description.
Also in the description are links to all of our social handles. Please connect with us across platforms. We love hearing from you. And don't forget to check out our blog at justmightdiy.com. Thanks for watching.